And we welcome you into another edition of Hornet Football Weekly. As we got a big show coming your way, we will focus in on our Hornet Sports Spotlight this week on cross country and track and field on the men's and women's side. We also will look back at Eastern Washington's game, look ahead to Cal Poly, and our Player of the Week will stop by as well. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm Jason Ross, joined by the head coach, Marshall Spurbeck. Coach, thanks for stopping by again here at our Sac State studios.
Thanks, Jason.
Well, we're going to start with something that's bigger than football. I mean, obviously it's a heavy topic, and the Hornet family lost one this week in John Bloomfield. It's been a trying moment for so many people for so many weeks, and I honestly don't even know how you guys as a program have had to go through it, but really an amazing young man that the Hornet family lost this week.
Yeah, he passed away yesterday at Mercy Hospital, and we truly lost one of our leaders, a great young man, and he was taken far too early from all of us.
I remember before the season, you were talking about him, just what he would mean to the team. And on the field, but certainly even as kind of a leader. There's so much about him that was likable that will be missed.
Mm-hmm. And I think the best way to summarize it is just that everybody John engaged with became affected by his personality, and he was truly such a team player. I mean, everything he did was for other people, and whether that was at his church, on our team, in his classes, he always thought about others first, and that is probably the biggest thing I'll remember about John.
I know it's not easy for anybody, certainly for John's family, for you guys as a Hornet family, but you got a lot of young men that you're trying to teach and coach. How have they dealt with it?
It's really been hard on the younger guys. I mean, there's a couple kids, Trevor Kelly, Edmund Famalo, that John kind of took under his wing and really tried to show those guys how to do things right, and I know those two especially have been affected by this, as our whole team has. But John was such an influence on the younger kids because of his demeanor and being such a great role model.
And then lastly, I know that you guys are going to obviously honor him this week and in weeks ahead, just really remembering what John Bloomfield meant to the program.
I'll never forget John Bloomfield, and I want our team and our Sac State community and football team to always remember John. And we're going to do some special things, and we're going to keep our thoughts and our prayers with his family through this tough time.
Yeah, well said. All right, we will take the break here. We do have more Hornet Football Weekly coming up.
Going to Sac State was really a rite of passage for the beginning of the rest of my life. I'm very happy that we brought one of the world's largest video game companies here to Sacramento.
I started Sleep Train after graduating Sac State in 1984. And it's really what built the foundation of who I am today.
I think that Sac State has made me into a leader. Most importantly, I think it's made me into a confident individual. I'm open to any opportunities. I'm Laura Gonzalez.
I'm Dale Carlson.
I'm Mark Otero, and I was made at Sac State.
All right, time to look back at our game this last weekend, Saturday, for the Hornets traveling to Cheney, Washington. What a battle, but the Hornets fell short to #1 Eastern Washington by 3. Coach, doing the game on the radio, one of my takeaways from that game was I'm watching the #1 team in the nation, watching the Hornets play them toe-to-toe. I didn't leave that game feeling you guys were outmatched or overworked. I mean, it was right down to the end. It was a game you guys could have won.
I agree, and I felt at the end we just ran out of time. You know, another 10 or 15 seconds, I felt like we were could at least had an opportunity to tie it, and we just missed on some opportunities. And you got to give them the respect that they earned that day, that they were the better team. But it certainly was a game that went down to the wire, and I think it was a good football game, fought hard by two really good football teams.
All right, let's get to some of the action from this week. We start out with you guys trailing early, but you reestablished the lead here on your freshman again, DeJon Coleman, on this touchdown run where he gives you guys that first half lead.
Yeah, there's really not much here. You know, it kind of gets bundled up inside. You see DeJon bounce outside and find a little crease, and he's into the end zone. And I thought he did a nice job of running the ball in some critical situations, especially for a freshman, cold day. You know, just being able to manage the football properly is a big task in itself, especially for a young running back.
How much was the wind a factor?
It factored in early in the game. It died down a little bit the second half, but the first half, I think it affected the kicking game more than anything. And I thought our punter did a great job. Justin Weldon did a nice job of punting into it and still managing to average about 38 yards a punt. So I think it affected probably our kickoffs a little bit more than it did our punting.
All right, our next highlight here is of your defensive line. You got after the quarterback. Tough team to get to, a couple different quarterbacks, but here's J.C. Toddy making a play.
J.C. Toddy's getting better each week. You know, he started off early in the season more in a backup role, and then Avery got hurt, and he started getting a little more playing time. And, you know, he was really kind of a special teams player early on, but he's just so darn aggressive and so passionate in the way he plays that he's doing some really good things for us. And he's only a sophomore, so we have him for 2 more years.
All right, so we advance further into the game. It's now in the second half, kind of needing a spark, needing some sort of play. This next one we're going to show is a great defensive play again. Badger gets a hand up, tips the ball, and then Markel Williams with a pick.
This was huge. We needed something like this, and it gave us great field position and allowed us to get a quick score and get us right back in the game. So hats off to the defense. Good aggressive play.
Well, you mentioned the score, so here's the score. You've got to go ahead and you do it with the offense. Great field position. Kind of an option here for Garrett Safran. He rolls out, looks like the defense is going to bite, and then just drops it off perfectly to Morris Norris.
Yeah, it's man coverage, and he runs a play action here in the corner in the top of your screen there. He's put in a tough situation. Do I cover or do I play the run? And he played the run, and Garrett flipped it out to Mo, and we were touchdown Hornets.
Yeah, touchdown Hornets there. And then again, it's battle, though, because Eastern Washington, how about they changed quarterbacks? They had played 2 quarterbacks in the year, but not really in the same game. Vernon Adams was as elusive as we've seen, but then Padron came in there. Did that change any wrinkles for your defense?
You know, 2 different styles, but you know, both those players are very effective. The kid that came in second was the starter at the beginning of the year, and then Adams beat him out. And you know, I think it was kind of a touche from last year when we played Tommy Edwards and Garrett Safran against them.
Yeah.
They came back with their own recipe of quarterback rotation, and it worked out pretty good for them.
All right, let's go back to your ground game and your offense. Ezekiel Graham really got it going too. I think this is one of his better runs that we've got to highlight here. He does a little of everything here.
Yeah, it's good to see Ezekiel, you know, staying up inside and you know, taking some defenders on, and he's becoming more of a physical back. We know he can get to the outside. We know he has the speed and quickness, but now he's starting to play more physical, and that's a good thing for him.
All right, you touched on special teams earlier with the way Weldon punted, but you guys also were able to get a punt block. Here's our next highlight. I think it's Sam McCowan that gets the block on a cold day. That had to hurt, but still a great play.
Yeah, and this, you know, they had an opportunity to pin us deep here, and we get the block and end up with the ball around the 35-yard line. And Sam's just done an outstanding job on all of our special teams. You know, he started out the season as the #1 running back, and you know, some guys kind of passed him up there, but he's kept his head up and he's contributed in whatever way he can, and there was a good example of it.
Now that's a good play, but sometimes you could even have a break out of it. I mean, that ball still goes forward for Eastern. We saw the J.C. Toddy sack, ball fumble, but recover. It feels like sometimes you could also use a break, even when you make a good play.
Yeah, that would have been nice to slam it and pick it up and scoop and score. And you know, you just got to keep competing. You know, those things will happen if you keep battling through it. And we're close. And that was an excellent play by Sam. Next time it might be a score. All
right, let's go to the end of the game now. Again, you're down, and Garrett Safran goes out, is hurt. So here's Mason Magleby. You've talked about depth. He comes in and throws a great throw, and T.J. Knowles with an unbelievable reception here for that touchdown.
Mason, you know, he didn't really have much warm-up, you know, opportunity, and it was cold up there, and he came right in, and that's a heck of a throw. I mean, he threw it really the only spot he could, and I thought he did a nice job on our last possession as well. You know, he finds Mo, and he kind of kept that drive alive. So we feel like we have 2 very, very good quarterbacks, and you know, Mason proved that Saturday.
How about in that last minute, or basically last seconds? I think you got the ball, 5 seconds left after that big hookup to Mo. I mean, 62-yarder with a win. I don't even know if that's an option. Hail Mary, quick out. I mean, what's kind of going through your head on that last play?
All those things. Yeah. You know, you're looking at all the scenarios, and my concern was the clock. I mean, their clock keeper had been letting it run and run. We had 3 times where we had to put clock time back on the clock, so I didn't feel good with that. And you know, the coverage they were playing, they were kind of sitting out there, and I was, you know, I figured our best option at that point was to go for it, and that's what we did.
Yeah, unfortunately, just fell short, but quite a battle against #1 Eastern, and I mean, heck, again, you learned that your team is going to battle all the way through these games, which is impressive.
And I think we've proven that over the last few years, you know, and that's the one thing that we instill in our program, and it's something our kids buy into. They know that they can compete at a high level, and they know that they're gonna play the game for 60 minutes.
All right, we've got more coming up, including our Player of the Week. He joins us next here on Hornet Football Weekly.
What light does gets in your head. can't avoid it. You can't escape it. Because what light does weighs on you. Do what light does in the 7.9-ounce Audi 05 Star.
Well, you see on your screen there our Player of the Week, and now Todd Davis joining us here on the set of Hornet Football Weekly. Todd, congratulations being our Player of the Week, and thank you for joining us on the set.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Sir, Marshall, look at that. He's calling me sir. I appreciate that.
Well, after all these shows, you're finally getting a little respect here. That's good.
It takes a while. Well, Todd, thank you so much for coming by. We got some footage that we're going to get into you from your work this week and through the season coming up. But tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been in the program now 3 years, a junior. What are you studying on campus?
I was an engineering guy. Now I'm a money guy, a finance guy, and I'm loving it right now. Just getting into the core classes of the finance. I'm definitely having a ball.
Seems like he's got a future there.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely watching your money. Well, let's talk about you on the field, because on the field you've now moved into the top 20 in Hornets' career in tackles. Is that an area that you kind of have some pride in, where you're moving up in the career ladder board there, on the leaderboard, I should say, for tackles?
Oh, definitely. I feel like it's a great accomplishment, but I think it's a testament to my whole team. I don't think it's just myself, because without the D-line and the other players that help contribute to the team's success, I don't think I would be successful.
Coach, how about Todd? What's he meant to you in this defense?
Well, I think Todd brings a lot of versatility. He can rush the passer, he can play coverage, he plays sideline to sideline really well. He's just such a good athlete, and that was demonstrated by his freshman year. He played some defensive line for us. So we think that Todd can do a lot of different things for us, and his versatility is probably his biggest virtue.
Well, let's show some of that. We've got some footage of you, Todd. First off, against Eastern this last week. Tough game, really a battle, but you were able to get to the quarterback here on our first highlight. Tell us about really different angles, different things about pursuing a quarterback, and certainly on this play.
These quarterbacks can be slippery. Everybody saw that in the first time I had a chance at the quarterback in this game. He kind of got away from me, but you kind of got to break down your feet and kind of get to the quarterback.
Is that the ultimate, though, to get a sack?
Yeah, I love them. Yeah. In high school, that was my thing. Sacks, I love sack more than anything. So.
Well, I know coaches love it too. I mean, anytime you can make a play as a defense, whether it's interception, force a fumble, get a sack, a tackle for a loss, and Todd's been around a lot of those this year.
All those things help change the momentum of the game, and they're big plays. They get the defense fired up, the stands fired up, everybody rallies around it, and we've been successful this year with a lot of quarterback sacks, a lot of hits on the quarterback, and Todd's been a big part of that.
All right, Todd, here's our next one where you're kind of pursuing the run as a linebacker. You're getting after the quarterback. You may have to drop back into coverage. Here you're getting after the run. Is that a tough thing to do to kind of stay disciplined?
Oh, definitely, because sometimes you want to over-pursue. Sometimes you want to just try and make plays, not necessarily doing your job. Mm-hmm. You always have to be focused on doing your job, because when you don't do your job, then you're messing somebody else up.
And, Coach, the value of having not only Todd, who's been around a couple of years, we had Jeff Badger here a couple weeks ago, just guys that have a lot of reps, a lot of experience. How much does that help?
The experience is very important to our success, and we've got two guys. They're roommates, they're best friends. They hang out. They compete against everything. We were just talking earlier. They're going to go compete who is the best on the TV show next. So they're both very good players. And then Markel Williams is also a guy that's been around about the same age. That's been in the program as well. So all three of those players outstanding and doing a good job for us. All
right, some more from you here, Todd. Here's another sack. This was a couple weeks ago at home against Weber State, and a bigger quarterback too. Mike Hoke's a tough guy to bring down. But you were able to get in. And that one with one arm kind of just pulling down the jersey, that was pretty nice.
Thank you, sir.
That was impressive. This is pure strength
that
right
was.
there.
I was surprised. When I saw him reach out with that one arm, I was going, oh, no, he's going to get out of it. 'Cause that guy's 235 pounds.
Yeah.
And Todd had the strength to pull him down. It was a big play at that point in the game as well.
All right, the next one I want to show, too, it's another run play. It's from Weber, and it kind of focuses on what we're going to talk about next. You're going to have to face a lot of running this week against Cal Poly, but there you are, again, showing your discipline on the run. How difficult is that, and really the challenge even this week against Cal Poly?
Very difficult. They're a very good football team. They run the ball really well, and they stay very disciplined. So I feel like as a team, we just have to be very disciplined this week, and I feel like we can accomplish that. You
know, Coach, the defenses seem to make kind of a steady improvement, and the Big Sky is just filled with either talented quarterbacks. This week, Cal Poly, an offense that can really run the ball. It just tests your defense every week, it seems like.
Yeah, it's just so competitive from week to week, and I think this week is important that we're going to see a lot of run, and we've got to play assignment football and really be disciplined in our fits and how we man up against these guys, because if you don't, they're going to take it to the house, and so we're going to have to be sound.
All right, Todd, how about for you in their third year, another year still in the program, but how have you seen it grow, the program grow while you've been here?
It's grown tremendously. My first year we were 7-4, and then last year we kind of struggled, but I feel like we're more of a team this year, and through the years we've grown together as a family and, as one cohesive unit, and I feel like with football you have to play as a cohesive unit or else you won't win games.
Well, thank you for joining us. Congratulations. Make sure you let Badger know you killed it. You did great. All right, that's Todd Davis joining us. We'll come back. We'll be joined with the coach. We'll look ahead to Cal Poly, the major challenge ahead. That's coming up here on Hornet Football Weekly. Well, the Hornets are coming home. Cal Poly, one of the new rivals in the conference as they've joined the Big Sky, and we'll look ahead to that game again here with the coach. Our thanks again to Todd Davis joining us in the last segment. Todd's going to be busy, that linebacking core, a lot of the guys, because this team runs and runs and runs the football.
They do. They run a triple option attack, and they challenge you to play assignment football, and we're going to have to be very disciplined.
You just played number one. Now you're playing a top 10 team, undefeated team. Rankings are what they are, but what's your impressions of Cal Poly as a team?
They're a very good football team. In all three phases of the game, they play very sound. Probably the most patient team that we've played all year from a standpoint of they want to get the ball back. They want to keep things in front of them on defense. They want to grind out the clock on offense. And, we're going to have to play very disciplined. Probably going to have to play our best disciplined football game of the year.
All right, let's look at some of the things that they do, and they do well. And we're going to have a lot of running clips here, but you guys are going to have to be on it because, you haven't faced an offense quite like this all season, have you?
No, it's unique. You get 3 days to go prepare for it, and that's probably why they run this offense. It's an offense where you've got to be, like I said, you got to be very you got to be very specific to your coverage and who you have, and they put you in those situations, play after play after play.
All right, let's look at that first highlight then. It's of them, a touchdown run for Cal Poly, and again, you just misdirection, guys going everywhere. This can be very disciplined for your defense. They'll need to be disciplined.
Yeah, and our guys will be up to the challenge. I know our coaches are putting together the game plan right now, and they'll get our guys ready. And the nice thing about it is you have to focus on that run, and you'll get yourself prepared that way.
All right, our next clip is kind of a similar formation, but they actually get the ball to the back out of the backfield. So they'll try to throw too, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to throw it 10 to 12 times a game, and the quarterback's good. He can hit. He's accurate, and he does a good job what he's asked to do. It's just a different style of what we've seen this far with all the drop back and the quick passing game, balls down the field, and we won't see as much of that this week as we have in the past.
All right, we've got more again. Here's another run, so it's complete opposite, I guess, of Idaho State, who was going to throw. These guys are going to run. And
that's a good analogy. As much as Idaho State depends on the pass, these guys depend on the run, and they try to pick away at you, and hopefully they hope that at some point that you're not going to be disciplined and they're going to hit you big. And as long as we stay disciplined and play assignment football, like I said earlier, we'll be in good shape.
I know it's going to be a tough one for me in the radio booth following the ball. Our next clip here, Coach, we're going to get a good angle of guys running everywhere. It's almost hard to spot the football.
They do. They go at a quick tempo too, and there's misdirection involved in it as well. And you can see there, you got somebody going up the middle, both sides, and who has the ball. So you have to have good eyes.
Mm-hmm. And then one last one too. We do definitely want to show that the team can throw the ball, and that's almost maybe where it makes it dangerous. You're biting for the run, and then they'll take their.
And that's what they try to do. They try to lull you to sleep with all that run game, and then they're going to try to strike you with some downfield throw. And like I said, you got a man, you got to stay on that man and be disciplined.
And Davis is a rival, will always be a rival, but each team has two now in the conference. So Cal Poly will be a regular every every year, and I think that's going to be good for the program.
I do too. I think the fact that we have 3 California schools in the Big Sky Conference now adds to the rivalries and adds to the West Coast. You know, we have some teams coming out our way, not just Sac State anymore. So I think those things are real positive.
All right, we've got more with the coach coming up in our final segment, but when we come back, we'll have our sports spotlight. That is coming up next here on Hornet Football Weekly.
Agents, when it comes to insurance, people feel lost.
That's a dead end.
Don't know which way to turn.
Turn around?
That's why we present people with options to help them find coverage that fits their needs.
Almost there.
It's a new Maze record.
Really?
I have no idea. We don't keep track of that kind of stuff.
We are insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96-FARMERS.
All right, welcome back into Hornet Football Weekly. We are now focusing our Hornet Sports Spotlight on track and field and cross country, and the director is joining us, and that is Kathleen Rasky of the men's and women's program. 10 years now for you here at the school. You got a lot on your shoulders and in your plate here.
Yeah, we have 100 athletes, and we have 6 NC2A sports, and we're always crazy busy, but we love it.
But you've had success, 12 championships for the program. What has that meant for you and the athletes that have achieved that?
Well, it's a tremendous accomplishment given where we used to be and growing and building a program, something that we can all be proud of as athletes and coaches and alumni, and hopefully for the rest of the university community as well. We're really excited about not only what we've done, but what we're about to do down the road in the future.
Well, how about your programs currently as the kind of the calendar year goes through? You're currently in cross country for men's and women's. Big meet coming up in Flagstaff. Tell us a little bit about how cross country is going right now.
Well, cross country's going well. We are redshirting our top 3 women, so we're developing our younger athletes, and it's really exciting to see our women step up and just to see their development. They're doing great. Actually, it was just kind of an unwritten, let's see where we're at, and they're just doing fantastic. And on the men's side, we have a really strong senior class, and our men's team is really, really strong. That we're talking about placing really well at the NC2A regional championships, and we're heading into Flagstaff this weekend, which is always a tough place to compete at 7,200 feet. Wow. And it's going to be tough, but we'll muddle through it, and we're looking for the meet after that, which will be at sea level.
And then if we look further into the calendar, January is when indoor track starts. Later in the spring, closer to March, outdoor track and field for the men and women. And you were telling me you have kind of a theme each year for each new squad. What's this year's theme?
Yeah, this year's theme is a new chapter. And that was really born of the newness of not only the conference, because we added 2 schools, but also we've got just 34 newcomers to our team. We've got a lot of different things going on within our program, just with turnover and those kinds of things. So we always say it's an unwritten chapter in our history book, and we're anxious to write it, and we're looking forward to a successful year.
Now, you lost some valuable members, but that's, like you said, 34 new people. You have to rebuild. That's the way it always goes. But it's interesting that some of your former athletes are sticking around, kind of helping and mentoring. How valuable is that?
Always valuable to bring that type of experience. And then, of course, they've been through our program. They know our core values. They know how we do things, and then they can help to impart that on especially the newcomers. And we've got people like Renisha Robinson, who's coming back and helping us out. And we have a pole vaulter and a jab thrower that have been around and helping us out. So it's invaluable for our kids.
Now, the strength for track and field, does it change year by year? Have you felt it's been distance running or actually field events? Kind of, where would you lay that out for this year's team?
Well, I think every year, if you look at our roster, we're a well-balanced program. And that's my core philosophy. We have good people in every event, 21 events in track and field, and I'd like to say that we could duel anybody in the country. So we have 2 good people in every single event. So there's not one event that's probably stronger than the other event. However, I will say that our ballistic events, our sprints, jumps, hurdles, throws, are really, really strong. And of course, those athletes can do multiple events. So we have, someone who might sprint and jump and hurdle for us, or do the multi-events and then come back and help us out in other events. That's always been our strength.
Well, good luck. Thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend, and certainly good luck when indoor and the regular season comes around.
Thanks so much. I appreciate being here.
All right, that's Kathleen Rasky joining us. We will take the break, come back, wrap things up with Marshall Spurbeck. That's straight ahead here on Hornet Football Weekly. All right, time to wrap things up here on another edition of Hornet Football Weekly. Again, thanks to Kathleen Rasky for joining us, and our Player of the Week, Todd Davis, back here with the coach. And Cal Poly coming in 6:05. The crowd has been great the last couple of weeks. It's the natural rival, an undefeated team coming in. We got to get a lot of people out there and an opportunity for you guys to get right back on track.
Yeah, we're excited about the opportunity, and I'd like to see us build on that homecoming crowd that we had 2 weeks ago. That was a nice crowd, and I think Cal Poly will bring a good following as well. So we should have 15,000 people there, I hope.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And just to build on what the conference is doing, and if you guys can get this win, Coach, it just kind of gets things going in that positive momentum again with 2 games to follow, more ranked teams, and your rival Davis. It kind of sets up well if you guys can get this going.
It's one game, like we always talk about. This is a great opportunity, and I think there's a little bit of a natural rivalry here as well because of them being a California school, and they even have the same colors as we do. So we'll be out there fighting for it.
Hopefully you guys are able to sort all that out. I'm sure that won't be a problem for anybody out there this weekend, but best of luck, Coach, this weekend, and go get them. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, excited for it.
All right, that's Marshall Spurbeck. We thank him for joining us again. Thank you to Kathleen Rasky and to Todd Davis. For our entire crew, we thank you all for listening and watching, I should say, as we'll see you again next week for another edition of Hornet Football Weekly.